Hello and greetings from the wildflower garden. I decided I wanted to come out and do a little garden tour, and it's been overcast and sprinkling, and guess what? It started to sprinkle again. So I just decided, hey, it's not too bad. I'm gonna just record in the rain, and if it gets worse, then I'll go inside. But I have been meaning to do a garden tour for the last month, and I think one reason why I've been putting it off is because here in Phoenix in the summertime, things just do not look good. I'm going to use the amateur gardener excuse, but for example, these roses, one thing I have finally figured out is that I have spider mites, and I know that that's like, you just figured that out. I thought I had a disease for a while. And when I say a while, I mean the last couple of years. It's just hard to get, your exact situation in a picture. And, this kind of looks like black spot, but I also think this is damage from spider mites. And anyway, I'm learning. I know the roses look underfed as well. I spent a lot of time on ChatGPT last week going through and asking questions about how to fertilize, and especially for organic gardening, and I got some good information. And so going forward, I'm going to start making a humongous effort to fertilize. I've been working on soil health. I have, did you hear that? That's a hummingbird. I mulched, but losing plants and trying to keep things alive is always a struggle. I think probably for any garden, but here in Phoenix, things are pretty brutal. And so like this rose bush has, I don't know if this is spider mite or what exactly. I did fertilize about a month ago. And that could be a fungus too, but whereas before I would be so embarrassed and almost like ashamed of myself to even claim I'm a gardener with having roses look like this, but I'm giving myself a lot of grace. Actually, I named this garden Garden of Grace a couple years ago, and I'm finally starting to really give myself some grace. One thing I spent a lot of time ChatGPTing were these irises, because they were so yellow on the inside, and they've actually greened up. We've had some rain, not heavy rain, but we've had some rain here. I think that's helped. But also, I did a spray treatment of a little bit of fish emulsion, and then this other stuff I got from Amazon called Root Ruckus. And the Root Ruckus is essentially like seaweed kelp stuff, and it has that humic acid. It's all natural, and I don't know if you can see any spots of it because I did I sprayed it on everything. ChatGPT said to do a light treatment. You can see a little bit, a light treatment on the irises because I don't want too much nitrogen, although I think they needed more nitrogen. But I sprayed everything. I even sprayed this orange tree. You can see some of the root ruckus and stuff that's gotten on the leaves. I hope I didn't put too much, but I mean, even the orange tree over here, like everything struggles. And I know some of this is gardening in Arizona, but also part of me feels like I'm a failure as a gardener, but you got to keep on going. So much to talk about, and I don't even know where to start. I'm going to go strategically since I started in my little rose bed. So I did some deadheading this morning. I mean, I have lavender that's dying over there. Oh well. Oh well, what are you going to do, right? These Gumfrea, these pink truffalo Gumfrea, this one has struggled since I put it in. That one's done pretty good. This one over here, it's a little leggy. It's done pretty good. It's pulling forward. It's coming out because I think it wants more sunlight. I think it was tucked a little too far back. I had a butterfly bush back there. It's open now. And considering how much... Oh, hello. The neighbor's dogs are going crazy. Oh, I think the neighbors are... They might come through the side gate, so we might hear them. But that butterfly bush, I don't think it was getting enough sunlight. And since these Gumfrea are coming forward, that kind of even more makes me realize that that's probably why that butterfly bush died. Let's see. You know what? Let's actually go over here. That way I can go on the other side once they've had a chance to greet their puppy dogs and go in. This is kind of the little no man's land. Now I got my air conditioner that you're going to hear. But I'm also a potter. These are some teacup planters that I made. They did really good for about 4 months. Maybe 5 months, and anyway, so they'll get repotted back up. Speaking of pottery, I did these two in college, and I decided I'm going to turn them into planters for aloe vera because they kind of have that rustic look to them. Speaking of aloe vera, I have my little aloe vera BB nursery garden area under this big plumeria. Again, you can see the spots. Maybe someone can tell me, am I spraying too much follicular spray when it kind of stays on the leaves? Probably. I don't know. I want to make sure it gets plenty of food, but maybe I'm putting too much on. But anyway, I am so sorry if I'm bouncing the camera around too much, but here's a little aloe vera plant stash of little babies that I've been trying to get to grow. Along with some cactus. Down this way, for all transparency, let's just take a look at it. Obviously, my air conditioning unit. I have another plumeria right there. On the other side of that is Arabian jasmine. I have another plumeria. Those two aren't doing the best. I think one of the reasons is I don't give it as much supplemental watering because the hose doesn't extend all the way back there. So it's just on regular drip. I had to recently trim back a lot of that Arabian jasmine. It didn't flower much, and I think it's because it was too overgrown. But so my hibiscus, I got a good amount of blooms on it this year, but it kind of stopped blooming for a while, and now it's starting up again. So I have some buds. Has a little bit of chloriosis. This thing really used to struggle big time. I mean, big time. I was constantly putting iron and iron and iron. So the fact that I'm only seeing a little bit, and I haven't given it any iron in probably about 5 months, is actually really good. I have some lemongrass from my friend Lily, and I realize I have to move it because the birds are pooping on it, and that's gross because I actually do want to let it get big enough and use it to make a curry. She uses her lemongrass to make it, put it in a curry. So I need to move this, clean it all off, and maybe in about 2 more months, once I get some more stalks, I can start using it. But I clearly need to move it because I do not want to have poopy curry. So I think the birds sit right up there, and that's gross. All right, well, isn't that nice and tranquil? This is called a jatropha tree. I planted it last fall. It looked gorgeous. It had so many pretty red flowers all through winter too. But it is very susceptible to cold, like anything below 40 degrees, and it just like does not like it, which in the wintertime we can get down to 32. We haven't had any deep freezes. In fact, I didn't cover anything last year. But yeah, it drops into the high 30s all the time in the winter. So it lost all of its leaves, but it's been growing back throughout the year, but it's not super great. So again, it probably needs to be fed. And I'd like to see if I can make this thing really come to life, because if it does not pick up in growth, then it's not going to survive the winter at all. This is a plumeria tree. It's a cutting from the plumeria I have on the side of the house. This one's kind of a red with pink. I am going to dig this thing up. It's gotten some new growth here because literally, it's nice and rooted in at a nice angle. It's not how I exactly would want it, but the good thing is I am going to dig it up and plant it on the side of the house. I'll show you. Probably September, just to give it time to root in a little bit more before the winter comes. But plumerias are so easy to just cut and propagate. I mean, it's crazy easy. That's why I have quite a few of them. That is called lavender star vine. It's about a year and a half old, and so I'm trying to cut it back more to get it into a nicer, tighter shape. It does have some pretty flowers in the spring. Here's one right now. So it's covered with them in the springtime, but I have a few blooms for the summer. I got really frustrated with this. This is a blue hibiscus. Actually, it is 3 separate ones. When you buy a plant at the nursery, generally what happens is they plant like 3 small plants together in one pot. So actually, if you break it apart, you can have 3 plants, which is basically what I did. This thing grew huge, leggy, and a bit out of control, which is why I chopped the heck out of it. But what I did here, this is one plant. You can see I cut back a lot of stuff here, and I'm making kind of a topiary. This one right here is just kind of all over the place. I did really cut it back. It's leaning. It's a big hot mess. So that was plant number 2. And then number 3, this one is going to be a nice topiary. So long story short, I actually plan to take out the middle one completely and just focus on the other 2. I will clean it up more on the top to get more of a fuller growth. I probably shouldn't have trimmed it at all during the summer because it's so hot, but I was having one of those days of looking out into the garden and hating it because it was looking horrible. So I decided to go and beat up on it. That's what I did. But anyway, thankfully it's pretty hardy. It's bouncing back and things are greening up really nicely because of the rain. I put in this nice little arbor, what's that called? An arch, garden arch. So my sky flower can start, here, let's come through here. Doo-doo-doo. So this is called sky flower. It's a really nice vine. Trying to make it happier. It was looking really yellow, like everything in the garden was looking so sad. But this is sky flower as well, but it needs something to grow up over. And maybe I came in too close. Let me go back up again. Here we're going around. We're going to go in a little circle here. I have these little pavers down here. See, we just walked around in a little circle. So I got the garden arch, and I secured, you can see, it's kind of like wire string to hold up the trellis. And eventually things will grow up over. I have skyflower on either side. So hopefully it'll support the plant, and it'll just kind of cover this whole thing up. Like, I am totally fine with it burying that whole garden arch. I have more Arabian jasmine. Again, this didn't bloom a whole lot. It could be because of not being fed well. I got some blooms, you can see. They're spent, but not a lot. So I'm sure there's so much more I could be doing. I have lots of bougainvillea. By the way, I have put on my Instagram page a whole battle of the bougainvillea, and this one's a pretty light pink. Oh, I have one blossom. Focusing. So that's what this one is. It's a pretty, really light pink. The rest of them are red, or not red, but sorry, camera. These kind of, not red, it's kind of that hot pink cranberry color. Not raspberry. I don't know what color it's called. And see, I got bougainvillea here. Let's see. I'll have to stand back more. But I went through and just hacked everything back. Again, overgrown. It was such a big job, but I got it done. Let me come out here. So actually, I got to step over the pole that had the lights. We had major monsoon winds. Okay, don't kill myself. The pole was attached right here. The nice thing is these poles separate. So this whole thing got pulled, knocked over, and fell down. So I've just taken it off. And I'll put it back up. And I do need to get these palms trimmed back. I'm gonna have a guy come out. So I'm gonna hire someone to come and take care of this palm and this one over here. I used to, up until probably last year, but these things are brutal. Like, if you think bougainvillea are bad, these, let me see, I don't even know if I can get it to focus in, but these are so thorny. Like, up here is not, as you start going up, it's not too bad, but everything at the base, and I was trimming it, and I always put that bottom part in the trash. If my trash can't fit all the fronds, because I cut them up, I at least get the bottom part in because it's so mean. And I poked one into my arm and it bled. It was like creepy because I had a long sleeve shirt on and it was just like blood was just pouring out. So these things are brutal and mean. And even if you poke yourself and you don't bleed, it like hurts for like a couple of days. I don't know if there's anything that the skin's allergic to, but you get this like big knot. So these things are really pretty. They have like a nice tropical look to them, but they are so mean. And I just rather pay someone to deal with them. I don't want to deal with them anymore. I will battle bougainvillea, but these are called Canary Island palms, and they're pretty, but yeah, I'm done managing them on my own. They also get all these, like, they don't even form actual dates. I don't know if this is sterile or, well, I guess it's not sterile because it forms something, but you don't even get like date clumps, which is too bad, but you just get these things that the bees love, but twice a year, and so they look messy. And so like having someone come in and cleaning that up. So again, this actually is this is what I want all of my bougainvillea to look like. This kind of tree form. So that's kind of my inspiration. Speaking of getting mad and chopping back plants, this is the one that started it all. I really hacked away at this thing. obviously. But the good thing, even though I kind of, looking at it now, would have done things slightly different, it gave me the courage to go in, start chopping things. These things get left. These are pokey too. Oh, I'm just going to throw it there. But the good thing is even though I chopped it back, look, I'm getting new growth. So, yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I keep on telling myself as I get really overwhelmed and kind of sad, like, oh, it doesn't look like, other people's gardens. Isn't that funny? We love watching other people's gardens, but then we get really, we compare. Isn't that what we always do? Always comparing. And so anyway, I'm not going to compare anymore. I'm going to enjoy the garden, and I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn things. Speaking of learning, my mint is doing good. I'm really pleased that it hasn't burned up in the summer, although it has not been that hot here in Phoenix. I mean, yeah, it gets up to 112, 115, but I would say we've had a lot of days under 110, which I know you're probably thinking that's still freaking hot, which it is. But considering, it's not unusual to have 3 weeks of 115, I will take anything under 110. So this area had lots of annuals through the fall, winter, and spring, and it was so pretty. So I think I'm going to just keep this as my annuals section. I had planned to put some things in for summer because we do have a lot of nice plants that can grow and flower in the summer, but because things got so overgrown and I got so overwhelmed, the only real annuals that I bought were these pink Truffalo Gumfrea. And then I got these. This is kind of like a miniature morning glory. They haven't bloomed as much. I'm not sure why, but I think they're called something blues, something blue eye, something. And it's a proven winner's one I just saw. It had all these pretty blue flowers, and anyway, they haven't bloomed as much through the summer, but they were blooming a lot when I first put them in. This Gumfrea right here, I love. It reseeds itself every year. We got this one and this one. The rain's really coming down. So I'm really happy that it always seems to reseed itself. Ooh, good. I'm almost done. I have a whole thing. I was going to talk about my moringa tree. I don't want to tilt the camera up too much because the lens is going to get wet. So, which is perfect because I can talk about the moringa tree later. I have so much to say about the moringa tree. Okay, so this plumeria right here, every time I cut off something, like right here, I need to cut this off. It's starting to stand out into the walkway. So you literally just cut it and stick it in the ground. Cut it and stick it in the ground. As you can see, it's starting to grow over. And I did that last year with this. I did this one in the fall. The best time, honestly, to do this is in the spring because it enters the growing season. But see this thing that looks horrible, but I thought it was dead. So I cut this branch off because it was sticking into the walkway, but I didn't want to throw it out. So I stuck it in the ground. It looked horrible. If you feel on the plumeria and it starts to get soft, that's not a good sign. But I just never pulled it out. And you can see where the sun has kind of burnt here. But it's firmed up. It's a little thin, but it's firmed up. But look, it started getting new growth. And this is, these are not going to flower now, but that's what it looks like before it starts to flower. It's been this way all spring. So yeah, it went through a lot of shock. But the fact is it actually has new growth. The thing did not die. I just left it that way all summer long, all winter long. And, but yeah, this one right here, this plumeria right here came from the one on the side. It's so happy here. Happier than the one on the other side of the house. Just cut it off, stuck it in the ground. I mean, that's literally all you do. You could do baby ones. You could just cut off right here, stick it in the ground. Again, the best time to do it is the spring because during the winter, this will lose all of its leaves. It'll kind of look like that. It'll just look like sticks. And it goes dormant. So you just stick the stick in the ground, and then eventually the roots grow, the leaves start growing, and that's kind of how it works. So at some point I already have given tons of these away. I'll probably have to give away more. I might put one right here. Okay, lastly, because we're getting rained on, I want to show you this pretty hollyhock. Let's end with this hollyhock. This is some sort of hybrid seed that just grew up. And because obviously you can see this is my whole hollyhock bed. And I never seen this color before until now. It's so pretty. I want to save seeds from it. But it does not look like here, this is where it would produce seeds. It doesn't look like it's really producing any seeds. So you can see it's getting some new growth in here. So I'm not going to cut the plant all the way back. I might eventually see it's getting new growth right here too. So it might not die back, and it might come back and bloom more, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And if that's the case, then I will try to harvest some seeds later. Hopefully I do get seeds. But see, because like right here, here's a perfect example. See these right here? That this will dry out, and then it'll be full of seeds, you know, that when they dry. But it hasn't produced any of those on this bush right here. Or because like right here, I'm sitting there thinking, oh, is that going to be a seed thing? And it doesn't look like it is. But I'm going to hope that I can get some seeds off of this, because that's so pretty. I mean, it's just so pretty. I mean, I love it when things kind of like cross-pollinate. But yeah, this little sad patch. This has finally given up the ghost. Which is fine, because it had really tall, like above the wall tall flower spikes in the spring, and I cut it back, as you can see. Like some of them like right here. So I didn't like rip this thing out, and it gave me another flush of pretty flowers. Can't tell that now, but that's what all of these were. And this just kind of died like, I don't know, about 3 weeks ago it started to kind of give up the ghost. So this is one of my favoriteest views of the garden, especially when the moringa tree looks better, but that's okay. This is the one bag I have left of all my trimmings. Yeah, disposing of trimmings and cuttings of all your plants, that is probably one of the toughest things, because I just have a standard trash can. So that's tough. Anyway, okay, well, I mean, I think for the most part I went through. I gave you the whole tour. I probably gave you way too much information. I know I don't have tons of followers, but anybody who happens to pop on, if there's anything that you are interested in knowing more about, comment. I will figure out how to get into the comments. Maybe I can respond, or maybe I can answer some questions later, or maybe even just give me some good advice on how to be a better gardener. I'll totally take that too. So, lemon tree, this lemon tree, which is in a pot, is doing better than my lemon tree or my orange tree in the ground. So go figure. All right, well, I'm completely wet, and but it's been nice. I'm going to enjoy these monsoon rains here in the desert, and let's see how things look in another month in the garden. All right, hey, thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Have a great day.